Sir William Seal.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This is my first call, and I'm surprised, sir, that given the importance of the legislation that we're debating at the moment, that the only two pieces of information that I have that is available to me is the Act itself and the Department disclosure statement, which doesn't provide a lot of information. But I want to follow through, sir, on something that I don't believe that this House has really considered in depth in debating this particular piece of legislation. And that is that we're amending the Social Security Act of 1964. And this bill, the government's bill, doesn't really provide a lot of information in terms of the principles and purpose of the Act of 1964. And I just want the House to cast their sight on that particular act, because that's what we're talking about. That's what we're amending tonight. The first, sir, is the purpose of the 1964 Act, and that is to enable the provision of financial and other support as appropriate to help people to support themselves and their dependents while not in paid employment, and to help people find or retain paid employment, and to help people for whom work may not currently be appropriate because of sickness, injury, disability, or caring responsibilities to support themselves and their dependents. So that really underlines what we're missing in all of this. This is about people, vulnerable people, sir. And I would ask the first question, given that we don't have the select committee process, we don't have the benefit of the advice from the general public, how many of these people, the vulnerable, that this 1964 Act was set up, how many of them are affected by this retrospective legislation? How many sickness beneficiaries are affected by this respective legislation? How many disabled or people with injuries are affected by this retrospective legislation? Or how many who have caring responsibilities, or how many who are unable to support themselves and their dependents and are dependent on the state to provide support? How many of them are affected by this? And I think, sir, if the Minister is able to provide that, that can give us some clarity then in terms of how much money is involved in this, because I understand that Minister Antoli made a comment in terms of an interview that she conducted in Radio New Zealand, and where she says on the 16th September 2015 that we're only talking about a day, so it's not a huge amount. So if it's not a huge amount, what are they doing then? What are they doing to the most vulnerable group of people in our community? All they have to do is to ensure that those people who missed out on the one day of repayment ought to be given that. So at the community level, the people on the ground would see that for the past 18 years, a government department has broken the law because they have not paid them something that these people should have been paid for. So they've broken the law. So if a business breaks the law, we take them to court. But in this case, the harm or the damage done by a particular government department, and now the government wants to act on it by refusing to pay out one day to a most vulnerable people, so that might $20, as my colleague Stuart Nash has said, is a lot of money to people who are in need. And so in the last 7 years, the group of people in need has grown and continues to grow. So I'm asking again, sir, to the Minister, can he give us a total of the number of people in the various beneficiary brackets? How many are affected by this? And can the Minister also provide the amount of money that we're talking about, sir? because that's not given to us, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to
Mr. Chairman.
call Dr. Megan Woods.